At exactly 6:12 a.m., a self-made millionaire dialed 911, not for himself, not for his family, but because of two little girls standing quietly outside his gate. They had been there every morning. Same time, same place, same small request. They never begged, they never cried, they just waited. Most days, he barely noticed them. But that morning, something was different. The girls didn't ask for help. They didn't say a single word. They just stood there, holding their bags, watching him. Something about their silence felt wrong. Something about the way they were standing felt wrong. And then he noticed their hands. The millionaire, a man who had negotiated billion-dollar deals, survived crashes, lawsuits, and failures without blinking, felt his stomach drop. For the first time in years, he didn't try to fix the problem. He didn't ask questions. He didn't call his assistant. He turned away from the girls, pulled out his phone, and called 911. Before we continue, quick question. What time is it where you're watching this? Morning coffee? Late night scroll? Let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from. And if you're finding this story worth your time, go ahead and hit that like button. And subscribe, it helps more than you think. Cody Wilson had lived in Westmont Ridge for 7 years. The house sat behind iron gates on 2 manicured acres where nothing unexpected ever happened. The kind of neighborhood where silence cost more than most people earned in a year. He had bought it with his second million, back when he still counted. By 41, the numbers had become abstract. Wealth was no longer about money. It was about distance, space, control. His mornings followed a pattern that never varied. Alarm at 5:30, black coffee while the market opened overseas. 40 minutes on the Peloton in the converted basement gym. Shower at 6:05. Dressed in charcoal or navy by 6:15, keys in hand by 6:20. Through the gate and onto the empty road before the sun fully broke the horizon. Precision kept you wealthy. Routine kept you sane. Cody believed, both with religious conviction. It was a Tuesday morning in late September when the pattern broke. He pressed the remote as his Mercedes approached the gate. The motor hummed. The iron bars began to slide open. And then he saw them. 2 girls, maybe 12 years old. Identical faces, dark braids, worn backpacks that looked too heavy for their small frames. They stood just beyond the property line, hands folded in front of them, watching his car with the kind of stillness that made his jaw tighten. Cody's thumb hovered over the remote. The gate continued opening. One of the girls stepped forward, not aggressive, not desperate, just deliberate. She spoke in a voice that barely carried over the hum of the motor. "Excuse me, sir, could you spare some change?" Cody didn't answer. He pulled the car through the gate, watched it close in his rearview mirror, and continued down the road. By the time he merged onto the highway, he had already forgotten their faces. But they were there the next morning. Same spot, same posture, same question, delivered in the same measured tone. "Excuse me, sir, could you spare some change?" This time, Cody didn't even slow down. The gate opened. He drove through. It closed behind him. The girls became part of the landscape, no different than the decorative street lamps or the HOA-approved mailboxes. By Friday, their presence had woven itself into his routine. 6:12 in the morning, 2 girls at the gate. A polite request he never acknowledged. The gate closing between them like a curtain falling on a play he hadn't bought tickets for. Cody told himself it wasn't cruelty, it was boundaries. Give to one person and 10 more would appear. That was the rule. He had worked for everything he owned, scholarships and student loans and 18-hour days building a consulting firm from a spare bedroom. Nobody had handed him anything. He didn't owe strangers his money just because they asked. Still, something about the girls bothered him. Not enough to stop, just enough to notice. They were always clean. Their clothes were faded and obviously second-hand, but not dirty. Their backpacks looked heavy but well-maintained, and they never looked desperate. That was what kept catching his attention. Desperate people had a specific energy. Wide eyes, reaching hands, voices that climbed in pitch and volume. These girls just stood there, patient, waiting, like they already knew the answer but asked anyway out of some obligation to the ritual. Cody mentioned them to Lauren Phillips, his executive assistant, during a call that first week. "2 kids hanging around my gate in the mornings," he said, scanning his calendar while he talked. "Asking for money." Lauren made a note. "Want me to call HOA security? They're not on the property. Just outside it. Want me to call the police?" Cody hesitated. "No, they're not doing anything wrong. Just standing there. Probably runaways. Or their parents send them out to panhandle. Maybe. You want me to look into it?" "No. Just thought I'd mention it." He hung up and went back to work. But over the next few days, he found himself paying closer attention. Small details emerged. One girl wore her hair in 2 tight braids that hung past her shoulders. The other kept hers, pulled back in a single ponytail. The girl with braids always spoke first. The one with the ponytail stood slightly behind, her eyes scanning the street like she was keeping watch. They never smiled, never frowned, never showed frustration when he drove past without acknowledging them. They just waited until the gate closed, then turned and walked away. Weeks passed. October arrived with cooler mornings and earlier sunsets. Cody started wearing a jacket to the car. The girls showed up in thin hoodies that looked like they had come from a donation bin, but they never missed a morning. 6:12. Every single day. Cody began to recognize the rhythm of their presence, the way the girl with braids shifted her weight from foot to foot while she waited, the way the one with the ponytail kept her hands in her pockets, the way they both watched his car approach with expressions that gave nothing away. He told himself their consistency was impressive. Not many people maintained that kind of discipline. Most would have given up after a week of rejection. These 2 kept coming back. One morning in mid-October, the gate malfunctioned. Cody pressed the remote and nothing happened. He pressed it again. Still nothing. He could see the girls through the bars, watching him from their usual spot. He rolled down the window, frustration prickling at the back of his neck. "You see a gray panel near the ground? Little metal box?" The girl with braids walked closer to the gate. She pointed to a spot near the base where grass had grown over the mechanism. Cody climbed out of the car, walked to the gate, and knelt to examine the problem. A connection wire had come loose. He pushed it back into place and the gate shuddered to life. When he stood, the girl was still there, just inches from the bars. "Thank you, sir," she said softly. "For fixing it." Cody hesitated. Up close, he could see details he had missed from the car. The tiredness in her eyes. Not the kind from one bad night. The kind that had been there so long it had become permanent. The way her jacket sleeves were too short, exposing wrists that looked too thin. The careful way she held herself, like someone who had learned not to take up too much space. "You're welcome," he heard himself say. He got back in his car and drove to work. But that night, lying in bed, he found himself thinking about her voice. It had been genuinely grateful, not performative, not manipulative, just sincere. He told himself it didn't matter. November arrived. The girls appeared every morning like clockwork, but they had stopped asking for money. Now they just stood at the gate, silent and watchful. Cody told himself this was better. No interaction meant no obligation. But the silence felt heavier than the requests ever had. One Thursday morning, he arrived at the gate to find only the girl with braids standing there, alone. Cody slowed the car. Something felt wrong. He rolled down the window. "Where's your sister?" The girl's expression didn't change. "She's sick." "How sick?" "Just a cold." Cody studied her face. "She at home?" "Yes, sir." "Someone with her?" "Our mom." "She's sleeping." The gate finished opening. Cody could have driven through, should have driven through. Instead, he sat there, engine idling, looking at this 12-year-old girl standing alone in the cold. "What's your name?" he asked. Nia Foster. Where do you go to school, Nia? She hesitated. Lincoln Elementary. Cody knew the school. It was on the other side of town, at least 4 miles away. Too far for a kid to walk, especially in weather that was dropping into the 30s. You got a way to get there? Yes, sir. I take the bus. City bus? She nodded. The nearest city bus stop was 2 miles in the opposite direction from his neighborhood, which meant this girl was walking at least 6 miles before she even sat down in a classroom. Cody felt something shift in his chest. Not pity exactly. Something more uncomfortable. Recognition, maybe. You hungry? He asked. Nia's eyes widened slightly. Sir, are you hungry? It's a simple question. I'm okay. Cody reached into the passenger seat and pulled out a protein bar he had grabbed from his kitchen that morning. He handed it through the window. Nia took it carefully, holding it like it might disappear. Thank you. What's your sister's name? Kiara Foster. Tell Kiara I hope she feels better. Nia nodded. I will. Cody drove through the gate and headed to work, but he couldn't stop thinking about the logistics. If Nia was walking 2 miles to a bus stop, riding the bus across town, then walking from the bus to school, she was spending at least 2 hours in transit, each way, 4 hours a day just getting to and from school, in weather that was only getting colder, and she was doing it alone while her sister was homesick and her mother was sleeping because she had probably worked all night. That afternoon, Cody asked Lauren to make some calls. Discreet inquiries to the school district, social services, a few community organizations. She called him back an hour later. Found them in the system, Nia Foster and Kiara Foster, 12 years old, enrolled at Lincoln Elementary but attendance is irregular. Mother is Leilani Foster, single parent, 2 jobs, father's not in the picture. What kind of jobs? Overnight warehouse shift, daytime cleaning service. She's working around the clock from what I can tell. Where do they live? Lauren gave him an address. Cody pulled it up on his phone. Oakwood Apartments, low-income housing on the east side of town. The kind of place people in Westmont Ridge pretended didn't exist. Anything else? Cody asked. Not much. They're poor, but they're not in the system. No CPS involvement, no welfare cases on file. They're just falling through the cracks. Cody thanked her and hung up. That night, he drove past Oakwood Apartments, 3-story building with peeling paint and rusted balcony railings. The parking lot was full of cars that looked like they barely ran. A group of men stood smoking near the entrance, their laughter carrying through the cold air. Cody didn't stop. He just drove past slowly, taking it all in. Then he went home to his empty house, with its state-of-the-art security system and temperature-controlled wine cellar and complete, suffocating silence. The next morning, both girls were at the gate. Kiara looked thinner than he remembered, paler, but she was standing next to her sister with the same watchful expression. Cody rolled down his window. Feeling better? Kiara nodded. Yes, sir. You sure? You look like you could use another few days. I'm fine. Cody reached into the passenger seat and pulled out 2 breakfast sandwiches he had picked up from a drive-thru on his way home the night before. He handed them through the window. Nia took them carefully. Thank you, sir. You can call me Cody. She nodded but didn't say his name. Over the next week, Cody found himself stopping at the drive-thru every evening. 2 breakfast sandwiches, 2 orange juices, sometimes fruit or granola bars. He told himself it was no different than buying coffee, a small transaction that cost him nothing but made the mornings feel less empty. The girls accepted everything with the same quiet gratitude. They never asked for more, never complained, never explained where they were going or why they were standing at his gate every morning at 6:12. Cody didn't ask. He wasn't sure he wanted to know, but he kept bringing food. One morning in late November, he brought them winter coats. He had asked Lauren to pick up 2 girls' jackets from a department store, size medium, neutral colors, nothing flashy. When he handed them through the window, Nia stared at them like they were made of glass. These are for us? She asked. It's getting cold. You need something warmer than those hoodies. Kiara reached out and touched the fabric. Her fingers trembled slightly. "Thank you." Cody nodded. "You're welcome." He watched them put the coats on. They fit perfectly. As he drove away, he glanced in the rearview mirror. The girls were standing at the gate, arms wrapped around themselves, watching him leave. For the first time, Cody felt something he couldn't name. Not satisfaction exactly, something quieter, the acknowledgement that he had seen them, really seen them. And once you saw someone, you couldn't unsee them. December brought the first real cold. Mornings dropped into the 20s. Frost covered the grass. Cody started arriving at the gate earlier, 6 o'clock instead of 6:12, just to make sure the girls had something warm before they started their walk. He learned small things about them through brief exchanges. Nia was the talker. Kiara was the observer. Nia liked peanut butter sandwiches. Kiara preferred turkey. Nia had a small scar above her left eyebrow from falling off a bike when she was 6. Kiara bit her nails when she was nervous. He learned they were careful. They never asked for anything beyond what he offered, never complained about the cold or the long walk, never explained why their mother couldn't drive them or why they were standing outside a stranger's gate every morning. And he learned they were afraid of something. He could see it in the way they glanced over their shoulders, in the way Kiara positioned herself between Nia and the street, as if ready to pull her sister out of harm's way, in the way they both stiffened whenever a car slowed down near them. One morning in mid-December, Cody finally asked, "You two in some kind of trouble?" Nia's face went carefully blank. "No, sir." "You sure?" "Because if you are, I know people who can help. Lawyers, social workers." "We're fine," Kiara interrupted. Her voice was sharp. "Final." Cody nodded slowly. "All right. But if that changes, you let me know." Neither girl answered. That afternoon, Cody called a private investigator named Dylan Lewis, someone he had used before for background checks on potential business partners. He gave Dylan the girls' names, their approximate age, their mother's name, and the address of Oakwood Apartments. Dylan called back 2 days later with a report. Leilani Foster, 34 years old, works overnight warehouse, shifts at a distribution center, and part-time for a commercial cleaning service during the day. She's pulling maybe 16-hour days when you add in commute time. Father's not in the picture. Never was. No child support. No family support that I could find. The girls? Enrolled at Lincoln Elementary, but their attendance is spotty. Not bad enough to trigger truancy protocols, but irregular. Probably because they're responsible for getting themselves to school while mom sleeps between shifts. Anything else? Dylan hesitated. There's a boyfriend. Guy named Andre Willis, 28, some minor priors, nothing violent, but he's been in and out of trouble. Moved in with Leilani about 4 months ago. Cody felt his jaw tighten. What kind of trouble? Petty theft, drug possession, disorderly conduct. Nothing recent, but the pattern's there. He live with them? On and off, from what I can tell. Neighbors say he comes and goes. Cody thanked him and hung up. Then he sat in his office, staring at the wall, thinking about 2 12-year-old girls standing outside his gate every morning while a man with a criminal record slept in their apartment. That night, he barely slept. The next morning, he brought the girls breakfast burritos and hot chocolate. When he handed them through the window, he studied their faces more carefully, looking for signs, bruises, fear, anything that would justify calling someone. He saw nothing. Just 2 tired kids accepting food with quiet gratitude. "Your mom doing okay?" he asked casually. Nia nodded. "She's tired a lot. But she's okay. She know you're out here every morning?" The girls exchanged a glance. "She knows we walk to the bus stop early," Nia said carefully. Not a lie. But not the whole truth either. Cody let it go. Christmas approached. The neighborhood filled with elaborate light displays and inflatable decorations. Cody put up nothing. He spent Christmas Eve working and Christmas Day alone, eating takeout in front of his laptop while he reviewed quarterly projections. On December 26th, he brought the girls gift cards, $50 each, to a local grocery store. Nia stared at the card like it was written in a foreign language. This is too much. It's fine. We can't. You can, Cody said firmly. Use it for food, or whatever you need. Kiara took both cards and looked at him with an expression he couldn't read. Thank you, Cody. It was the first time either of them had used his first name. He nodded, not trusting himself to speak, and drove to work. That afternoon, sitting in his empty office while everyone else was still on holiday, Cody made a decision. He called Dylan Lewis again. I need you to do something for me, quietly. What's that? I want to set up a fund for a family. Medical expenses, groceries, rent assistance, whatever they need. But they can't know it's from me. Dylan was silent for a moment. You want to help them anonymously? Yes, that's complicated, and it might not work the way you think. I don't care. Figure it out. Dylan sighed. All right, give me a few days. By New Year's Eve, Dylan had arranged for a local nonprofit to administer an anonymous assistance program. The foster family would receive a monthly stipend, not much, enough to cover rent and groceries, maybe a little extra for emergencies. The money would come through the nonprofit, no names attached, no strings. Cody approved the arrangement and told Dylan to start immediately. He didn't tell the girls. He just kept showing up every morning with food and warm drinks, and they kept accepting with the same quiet gratitude. January arrived brutal and mean. The temperature dropped into the teens and stayed there. Wind cut through everything. Cody started keeping extra blankets in his car, along with hand warmers and insulated gloves. The girls showed up every morning, no matter how cold it got. On January 8th, Cody arrived at the gate to find both girls waiting. But something was different. They weren't standing in their usual spot. They were pressed against the gate itself, as if trying to get closer to his house. And they weren't wearing the coats he had given them. Cody rolled down the window. Where are your coats? Neither girl answered. Nia, Kiara, where are your coats? Nia looked at her sister. Kiara shook her head slightly. Cody felt ice in his stomach. Did someone take them? Silence. Did Andre take them? Kiara's expression hardened. We're fine. You're not fine. It's 15 degrees out here and you're wearing hoodies. We said we're fine. Cody stared at them for a long moment. Then he got out of the car, walked to the trunk, and pulled out 2 emergency blankets from his roadside kit. He brought them to the gate and passed them through. Use these. And if Andre took those coats, you tell me. I'll get you new ones. Nia took the blankets. Thank you. Cody got back in the car and drove to work, but his hands were shaking on the steering wheel. That afternoon, he called Dylan again. I need more information on Andre Willis. What kind of information? Everything. Where he works, where he goes, who he talks to. I want to know what he's doing. Dylan was quiet for a moment. Cody, if you're thinking about confronting this guy, I'm not. I just need to know. All right, give me a few days. But Cody didn't have a few days, because the next morning, everything changed. He pulled up to the gate at 6 o'clock. The sun hadn't fully risen yet. The street was still dark except for the dim glow of street lamps. The girls were there, same as always. But they weren't standing. They were sitting on the ground, backs against the brick pillar that held the gate mechanism. Their backpacks were beside them. Their heads were down. Cody felt his chest tighten. He got out of the car and walked to the gate. Nia? Kiara? Both girls looked up, and that's when he saw their faces. Nia had a bruise on her left cheek, dark purple, already starting to yellow at the edges. Kiara's bottom lip was split. A thin line of dried blood ran down her chin. Cody's vision narrowed. Who did this? Neither girl answered. Was it Andre? Silence. Cody pulled out his phone. His hands were steady now, perfectly steady. The way they got when he was about to close a deal or fire someone who had betrayed him. I'm calling the police. Kiara stood up quickly. Don't. Someone hit you. It'll make it worse. It can't get worse than this. Yes, it can, Kiara said, her voice breaking. If you call, they'll take us away. They'll put us in the system. We'll get separated. Please don't." Cody looked at her. At the fear in her eyes, at the split lip and the desperation and the 12-year-old girl trying to protect her sister from a system she didn't trust. And then he looked at Nia, sitting on the ground with a bruise on her face, watching him with an expression that said she had already accepted whatever happened next. Cody dialed 911. The operator answered on the second ring. 911. What's your emergency? I need to report child abuse. 2 girls. They've been assaulted. I'm at 47 Westmont Ridge Drive. They're outside my gate. Are the children in immediate danger? I don't know, but someone hurt them, and I need you to send officers now. Units are on the way. Can you stay on the line? Yes. Cody stayed. He stood at the gate with the phone pressed to his ear, watching Nia and Kiara sit in silence. Neither girl looked at him. They just stared at the ground, waiting for whatever came next. Within 12 minutes, a patrol car arrived. 2 officers stepped out. A woman with red hair pulled back in a tight bun, and a man with a weathered face that had seen too much. The woman approached the gate first. "I'm Officer Amanda Hall. This is Officer Brandon Miller. Who called this in?" "I did," Cody said. "Cody Wilson. These girls have been coming by my house every morning for months. Today they showed up like this." Officer Hall knelt in front of Nia and Kiara. Her voice was calm, professional, the kind of calm that came from training and experience and knowing how to talk to frightened children. "Hi, girls. Can you tell me your names?" Nia looked at her sister. Kiara's jaw was clenched tight. "It's okay," Officer Hall said gently. "You're not in trouble. We just want to help." "Nia Foster," Nia said quietly. "This is Kiara Foster. Can you tell me what happened to your faces?" Silence. "Did someone hit you?" More silence. Officer Hall glanced at Officer Miller. He pulled out his radio and called for backup. Child Protective Services, an ambulance just in case. Officer Hall turned back to the girls. "I know you're scared, but we can't help if you don't tell us what happened." Kiara finally spoke. Her voice was barely above a whisper. "Our mom's boyfriend, Andre Willis, he got mad last night." "What was he mad about?" "We were too loud. We woke him up." "Where's your mom?" "At work. She works nights." "So Andre was watching you?" Kiara nodded. "Where is he now?" "I don't know. He left after it happened." Officer Hall stood and exchanged a look with Officer Miller. He spoke into his radio again, giving Andre's name and description. Within the next hour, more vehicles arrived. An ambulance, a car from Child Protective Services, a second patrol car. The quiet street filled with flashing lights and crackling radios and people in uniforms asking questions in calm, measured voices. Cody stood by his car, watching it all unfold. He felt numb, angry, helpless. He had made the call. He had done the right thing. But watching 2 12-year-old girls sit in the back of an ambulance while a paramedic examined their injuries, he couldn't shake the feeling that he should have called sooner. Officer Hall approached him. "Mr. Wilson, I need to ask you a few questions." "Of course. How long have you known these girls?" "Since September. They started showing up outside my gate every morning, asking for spare change at first. Then they just stopped asking and kept showing up." "And you've been giving them food?" "For the past couple months, yes." "Did you notice any signs of abuse before today?" Cody hesitated. "They seemed scared sometimes. They stopped wearing the winter coats I gave them. But I didn't see any bruises. Not until this morning." Officer Hall nodded. "You did the right thing calling us." "Did I?" Cody asked. "Because that girl over there thinks I just ruined her life. You might have saved it." Cody looked at her. "What happens now?" "We'll take them to the hospital, get them checked out. Social services will interview them, figure out the situation. We'll pick up Andre Willis and charge him with child abuse. And we'll contact their mother." "What about the girls? Where do they go?" "Emergency foster care, until we can determine if their home is safe. Cody felt his jaw tighten. How long does that take? Depends on the investigation. Could be days, could be weeks. And if their mother didn't know this was happening, if she was just working all the time and didn't realize her boyfriend was hurting her kids, then we'll work with her. Help her get resources. Maybe she gets them back, maybe she doesn't. That's for the court to decide. Officer Hall walked back to the ambulance. Cody stood alone in his driveway, watching the scene unfold like it was happening to someone else. A woman in a gray blazer approached him. Mid-40s, short dark hair, tired eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. Mr. Wilson? I'm Samantha Clark, Child Protective Services. I understand you've had regular contact with Nia and Kiara? I've been giving them food in the mornings. That's all. That's more than most people do, Samantha said. Can I get your contact information? In case we need to follow up, Cody gave her his phone number and email address. The girls mentioned you've been very kind to them, Samantha said. They wanted me to make sure you knew they weren't mad at you. Cody looked at her. They said that? Nia did. She said you were just trying to help. Cody felt something crack in his chest. What happens to them now? We'll place them with a foster family tonight. Then we'll start the investigation. Talk to their mother. Build a case against Andre. Figure out the best path forward. Can I stay in touch with them? Samantha hesitated. That's complicated. You're not family. And there are rules about contact during an active investigation. I understand. But they've been coming to my gate every morning for 4 months. I'd like to know they're okay. Samantha studied him for a moment. Then she nodded. I'll make a note in the file. If the girls want to stay in touch, we can arrange supervised contact, but that's their choice. Thank you. Samantha walked back to her car. The ambulance pulled away, lights flashing, but no siren. The patrol cars followed. Within 20 minutes, the street was empty again, silent, like nothing had happened. Cody stood at his gate for a long time, staring at the spot where the girls had been sitting. Then he got in his car and drove to work. But he couldn't focus, couldn't think, couldn't do anything except replay the morning in his head. That evening, he sat in his study with a glass of bourbon he didn't drink and a laptop he didn't open. The house felt emptier than usual. The silence felt accusatory. He thought about all the mornings he had driven past those girls without stopping, all the times he had seen them and chosen not to see them, all the ways he had convinced himself that their problems weren't his responsibility. And he thought about the bruise on Nia's face, the split lip on Kiara's, the way they had sat on the ground, waiting for someone to help them while the person who should have protected them slept off a night shift and her boyfriend used them as punching bags. Cody pulled out his phone and called Dylan Lewis. I need you to find out everything you can about the foster case. Who's handling it? What's going to happen to the girls? Where they're being placed? Cody, that's going to require some digging. These cases are usually sealed. I don't care. Find out. Dylan said. All right. 2 days later, Dylan called back. Andre Willis was arrested yesterday morning. Found him at a bar downtown. He's being charged with 2 counts of child abuse. Bail's set at $50,000. He's still in custody. Good. What about the girls? They're with a foster family in Riverside. Family named the Johnsons. Rebecca Davis and Jonathan Harris. They've been fostering for about 10 years. Clean record. The girls are safe. And their mother? Leilani Foster was interviewed yesterday. She claims she didn't know Andre was hitting the kids. Said she was working so much she didn't see them in the mornings or evenings. Social Services is evaluating whether she can get the girls back. What's your read on it? Dylan was quiet for a moment. Honestly, she probably didn't know. She's working herself into the ground trying to keep a roof over their heads. But that doesn't matter. She let a guy with a record move in with her kids. That's negligence, even if she didn't hit them herself. Cody thanked him and hung up. That night, he couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about Leilani Foster, a woman working 16-hour days, trying to feed her children, trying to keep them safe, trying to survive, and she had failed. Not because she was cruel, not because she didn't care, but because the system had ground her down until there was nothing left except exhaustion and bad decisions. The next morning, Cody didn't drive to work. He drove to Oakwood Apartments. The building looked worse in daylight. Cracked siding, broken gutters, a rusted playground with one swing hanging by a single chain. He parked in the lot and sat for a moment, staring at the building. Then he got out and walked to the entrance. A man in a security uniform sat behind a desk in the lobby. "Can I help you?" "I'm looking for Leilani Foster. Apartment 2C. The man frowned. "She's not here. She's at work." "Do you know when she'll be back?" "Lady works around the clock. Could be tonight, could be tomorrow." Cody nodded. "Can I leave her a message?" "Sure." Cody pulled out a business card and wrote on the back, "I'm the man who called 911 about your daughters. I'd like to help. Please call me." He left his cell number. The security guard took the card. "I'll make sure she gets it." Cody thanked him and left. 3 days passed. No call. Cody told himself she probably threw the card away. Or she was angry. Or she was too overwhelmed to deal with a stranger who had upended her life. But on the 4th day, his phone rang. Unknown number. "Hello? Mr. Wilson?" A woman's voice. Tired, wary. "This is Leilani Foster. Thank you for calling. The security guard gave me your card. You're the one who called the cops on my kids?" "I called because your kids needed help." Silence. "I'm not trying to make your life harder," Cody said. "I just want to make sure they're okay. They're in foster care because of you. They're in foster care because someone was hurting them." More silence. Then a sound that might have been a stifled sob. "I didn't know," Leilani said quietly. "I swear to God I didn't know." "I believe you. I was working. I'm always working. I thought Andre was helping. I thought he was watching them when I couldn't. I know. Now I've lost them. And I don't know how to get them back." Cody took a breath. "I can help with that." "Why would you help me?" "Because your daughters have been standing outside my gate every morning for 4 months, and I ignored them for most of that time. This is me trying to do better." Leilani was quiet for a long moment. Then, "What kind of help? Legal help? Financial help? Whatever you need to get your kids back safely." "I can't afford a lawyer." "I can." Another pause. "Why?" It was the same question Nia had asked. Simple, direct, impossible to answer with anything except the truth. "Because I can," Cody said. "And because it's the right thing to do." Leilani didn't answer right away. When she finally spoke, her voice was thick with emotion. "Okay." Over the next 2 weeks, Cody hired a family law attorney named Megan Roberts. She was sharp, experienced, and expensive. She met with Leilani, reviewed the case, and outlined a strategy. She needs to complete a parenting class, anger management, home safety evaluation, and she needs to prove she's removed Andre from her life permanently. "Can she do that and still work?" Cody asked. "Not at the hours she's currently working. She'll need to cut back, which means she'll need financial support." Cody nodded. "I'll handle it." Megan raised an eyebrow. "You're paying for her legal fees and her living expenses?" "Yes." "That's a lot of money for someone you barely know." "It's not about knowing her. It's about making sure those kids don't end up separated or stuck in the system because their mother was too poor to fight for them." Megan studied him for a moment. Then she nodded. "All right, let's get to work." By early February, Leilani had completed the required classes. Andre had been convicted and sentenced to 18 months. The home safety evaluation passed after Cody helped Leilani move to a new apartment in a safer neighborhood. The rent was twice what she had been paying at Oakwood, but Cody covered the difference through the same anonymous assistance program he had set up in December. On February 20th, the court granted Leilani supervised visitation with her daughters. On March 5th, the supervision was lifted. On March 18th, Nia and Kiara moved back home. Cody received a call from Samantha Clark that evening. "The girls are back with their mother. They wanted me to tell you thank you. Can I see them? They'd like that." Let me arrange something." 2 days later, Cody met Nia and Kiara at a park near their new apartment. It was a mild afternoon. The sun was warm. The trees were just starting to bud. The girls ran to him when they saw him. Not tentatively, not carefully. They just ran. Nia hugged him first. Then Kiara. They both held on longer than he expected. "Hi, Cody," Nia said. "Hi, Nia. Hi, Kiara." He looked at them carefully. The bruises were gone. Their faces looked fuller. Their eyes looked brighter. "You two okay?" "We're good," Kiara said. "We're really good." They sat on a bench and talked. About school, about their new apartment, about the foster family who had been kind to them, about how their mom was working less and home more. "She cries a lot," Nia said softly, "but she says she's okay. She's been through a lot," Cody said. "Give her time." After a while, Leilani approached. She was younger than Cody expected, maybe 35, thin, tired, but she walked with her shoulders back, like she was still standing even though everything had tried to knock her down. "Mr. Wilson," she said. "Cody," she nodded. "Cody, I wanted to thank you for everything. The lawyer, the apartment, the second chance. You're welcome. I don't know how I'll ever repay you." "You don't have to. Just take care of your daughters." Leilani's eyes filled with tears. "I will, I promise." Cody nodded. "I know." Over the next few months, Cody stayed in touch. He visited once a week, always bringing something small. A book, a puzzle, a bag of groceries. He helped Nia with her math homework. He taught Kiara how to change a tire. He took all three of them to dinner on Leilani's birthday. Slowly, something unexpected happened. The empty house in Westmont Ridge felt less suffocating. The silence felt less heavy. Cody started arriving home and feeling something other than relief that the day was over. He felt like he had something to come back to. One evening in late May, sitting on Leilani's balcony while the girls did homework inside, Leilani looked at him and asked the question he had been asking himself for months. "Why did you do all this?" Cody thought about it. About the mornings he had driven past 2 little girls without seeing them. About the distance he had built around himself to keep the world out. About the moment he had looked through his gate and seen bruises on their faces and realized that distance hadn't protected him from anything. It had just made him complicit. "Because I could," he said finally. "And because for a long time I didn't. I saw them every day, and I chose not to see them. When I finally did, I couldn't walk away." Leilani nodded slowly. "Most people would have." "I know. Thank you for not being most people." Cody looked at her. At this woman who had worked herself to exhaustion trying to save her children, who had made mistakes and paid for them and kept fighting anyway. At the girls inside, bent over their homework, safe and fed and home. "You're welcome," he said. By the time autumn came again, Cody's routine had changed. He still woke at 5:30, still drank black coffee, still worked hard and closed deals and made money. But on Saturday mornings, he drove to the east side of town and picked up Nia and Kiara. They got breakfast at a diner. They went to the park. They talked about everything and nothing. And on weekday mornings, when he drove through his gate at 6:12, he didn't see 2 girls standing there waiting for help. He saw an empty street. And for the first time in his life, that emptiness felt like peace. One morning in November, exactly 1 year after he had called 911, Cody pulled up to his gate and paused. He sat there for a moment, engine idling, remembering. Then he drove through and headed to work. But that evening, instead of going home, he drove to the Foster apartment. He knocked on the door. Leilani answered, surprised. "Cody, everything okay?" "Everything's fine. I just wanted to see if you all wanted to come to dinner. There's a place downtown I've been meaning to try." Leilani smiled. "We'd love to." They went to dinner. They laughed. They talked. They ate too much dessert. And when Cody drove home that night, his house didn't feel empty. It felt like a place he could leave, because he had somewhere else to be.